What's up, gang? It's Chris here, Superfly. Super psyched to be back with you again. It's been a minute since we put out some YouTube videos, but as you may know, we are pumping out these YouTube videos from time to time. Really big on content, a little low on production quality, pretty high on the quirkiness. It seems to work. Based on some feedback we received, we're having a little chat today about stalls. And so first we'll start off with a little bit of a historical perspective. I have been paragliding for like 32 years, maybe this year, something like that, and teaching the whole time. I did around 16, 18 years of boat towing, maneuvers, SIV as it were, 60-ish days a year. So I'm not very good at math, but it seems like a lot of towing, a lot of maneuvers, and I've been there as a maneuvers coach, coaching people to engage in stalls. And times have changed. I'm not doing as much boat towing these days, SIV. A lot of other people are taking the lead, and I really appreciate it. I can't tell these guys who are doing the maneuvers how much we appreciate them. It's really important work, and a lot of people are getting after it, so big success there. They're coaching folks through a lot of different maneuvers, up to and also including stall. And the question is, how beneficial is this maneuver and what is the use? So having done it for years and years, I know that all of the maneuvers that we do are in the neighborhood of up to about an 8 out of 10, meaning not crazy intense. But when you cross the threshold and go into the stall, then we find ourselves pushing like almost guaranteed 11. Like it's just a little on the crazy side. And it's hard for a new pilot to sort of calibrate on that and know what they're signing up for. Some people will nail it on their first go and it'll be clean. And it's also true that a big percentage of the people will have some wild events associated with their stall practice. And so as a young maneuvers coach, I would just celebrate that like crazy. Dude, that's why you came here, was to get a little out of control. Dude, that's why you came here, was to really trash on your glider and see what it looks like when it's just all the way stalled. Dude, that's why you came here, was to throw your reserve and land in the water. Aren't you stoked? And I tried that for years and years and years, and I even convinced myself that it was just spot on. As I got older, I found out that it's actually not that nice of a thing to do to people. I found out that in the grand scheme of things, when bad things happen during the stall and it gets wild and folks throw their reserves, somebody screwed up, like the coach screwed up on the progression. What's happening is a lot of people are out there maneuvering. A lot of coaches are dishing out this stall coaching, and it's getting a little wild. And these people leave pretty elated, but when they reflect on it, they figure out that they may have something resembling what we tend to refer to as a fear injury. Like it got so wild, it got so out of control that they lost a little bit of the fun that was associated with the SIV. In some cases, can take a little bit of the fun out of paragliding in general. So in some cases, they'll have a riser twist, sometimes the big cravat, sometimes they'll tear the glider. However it may shake down, it is true that sometimes these people go down the road and they don't log it as a plus. So it raises the question, what is the utility in this maneuver? What is the value? And so years and years, people would circle back and I would say, hey, on that stall thing that we did, how useful did you think it was? How would you rate it? And they would say things like, well, it satisfied a curiosity for me, but I haven't seen myself using it in the last year. I'm gonna start to argue that maybe, just maybe, stalling like crazy isn't that beneficial. I'm gonna argue a little bit that stalling might not be that useful of a maneuver. A quick poll of like folks that have been around, hey, have you ever used the stall to reset the glider? Tons of people that I know that have been at it for a while, myself included, we've never stalled it to fix it. When you execute a stall in the SIV environment, it's gonna take, a couple hundred feet. And it's true that when you're out there in combat, flying in some place where you get a big deflation and then a subsequent cravat, that you might not have that couple hundred feet. And when people go and do these multiple stall cycles, turkey, Garda, etc., it starts to be ingrained in them that when things go haywire, that they're meant to stall it. Meanwhile, sometimes there's not enough room for that. There's not altitude for that. Big questions. I don't have all the answers, but I do want to just throw out the argument that maybe, just maybe, the stalls aren't that valuable. I want to throw out the argument that maybe, just maybe, it's not a nice thing to stall people on their first SIV. And I want to throw out the idea that when you're out there in combat, it might not be the stall as executed in an SIV that you want to do to fix your situation. It might be that reserve might be more appropriate than a stall. It's also the case that being able to clear a tip that's stuck in, and this is the argument that people are going to make, what do you do when you have the tip stuck in and you just can't figure out any other way to get it out? The truth is that a aggressive brake input on the stuck side is really the trick. So it kind of looks a little bit more like a spin toward the stuck tip. And I'm going to argue that maybe, just maybe, a little more time spent on the spin, or a little bit more discussion surrounding the topic of how do you aggressively clear a stuck tip without doing a couple hundred feet of stall. And so I'm throwing that one out there for folks to chew on. I'm really super interested to hear what people have to say. I'd love it if you would throw, your experience into the comments. Let us know how it went for you. Let us know if you've ever used a stall to fix it. Let us know if you've ever been to a SIV in which you did some stalls and it got wild and you didn't feel like you were taken care of. And more than anything, as a parting shot here, I want to reach out to the SIV coaches, stateside and otherwise, and just say, hey, maybe let's be a little nicer to these people. Let's let them come and do an SIV and just skip that part of it and just build some confidence doing up to a stall, but not including the stall. And let them come back with a bunch of stoke, having meditated on the stall, having studied the stall on video, having logged a successful SIV. And when they come back and they are declaring that that's why they are there and that's their mission, maybe then engage in the stall stuff with people, and you'll have more solid outcomes. As an instructor, when I send people out to go do SIV, I tell them, hey, go and do everything that they ask, but when it comes stall time, just don't do it. Just tell the coach that you'll be back next weekend or next month or next year or whenever it may be. Come back on the second occasion and then check out the stall. Be sure to throw a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Let us know if you have any feedback, ideas for other videos. If you happen to be in Salt Lake City, then come visit us. Right now it's November. We just came back from the hill and we're flying mini wings and mustaches in the sunset. And so we're always up to good stuff year round, and you're welcome to join us. Looking forward to seeing you around.